I did great against a lot of people, whether it be Skip the Malu, Ray for Austin, Stephon Marbury, Felipe Lopez. But the one person that caught me off guard, and I'm gonna be totally honest, is a guy from Brooklyn named Ed Cota. He went to Tilden and nobody heard of this dude. That's the only person I ever give 100% props to, because I ain't have a scout report on him, I ain't know. And I forget the big man who went to their school. Everybody was talking about the big man, Kevin Sutton, I can't remember his name, but Ed Cota had a high dribble, and I was really good on defense, so every time I go to steal the ball, he would get low, and he bust my ass, man.
Eduardo Enrique Cota, aka Ed Cota, born May 19th, 1976. Today's feature is a guy that had everything you could ask for as far as opportunity as an amateur to make it to the NBA. He was a star in college, and some would even call him a legend. He was an easy point guard to play with and averaged some of the highest assist averages at UNC, and has top 3 single season assist averages in Tar Heel history. His 1,030 career assists shattered Kenny Smith's school record by more than 200. But for 3 reasons, can you believe he wasn't given a chance to play in the league? Let's get into it. Salute to Super Ugly TV and my man Tommy Boy 8310 on IG for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Ed was born in Los Angeles, California, but played his high school basketball in Brooklyn, New York. A gifted scorer, leader, and natural feel for the game, but an even better passer. As a sophomore, he averaged 31.5 points, 11 assists, and 6 steals per game, and led his team to the semifinals of the New York Public School League. He made it through almost losing both parents in a tragic car accident that saw both of them spend significant time in the hospital, his father still being in a wheelchair years after the crash, but that didn't stop a determined Cota. He would become a McDonald's All-American and earn a scholarship from one of the top schools in the country to be their point guard. Stunt number 1, size matters, at least in this game. He had an immediate impact as a freshman on a team that featured 4 other future NBA players, including a sophomore Vince Carter and Antoine Jameson. He was a freshman All-American, was the leading vote getter on the 1997 All-ACC freshman team, and NCAA participant every year for the school, along with 3 of 4 Final Four appearances. He averaged 8 points a game and 7 assists. As a sophomore, he had even more NBA players on the team with the addition of Brandon Haywood. His assist average would improve every year, and by his senior season, averaged a career-high 8.4 assists. If you know anything about college basketball, you know that some games end with scores as low as in the 40s and sometimes 30s. So to average 8, almost 9 assists in college is really amazing. Although he had many translational traits of an NBA point guard, his height at a listed 6 foot scared NBA GMs at the time. He would finish school as the record holder for most assists recorded in a career, and in my opinion was a top 3 UNC point guard of all time. In the 2000 draft though, there was only 1 point guard taken in the lottery in Mateen Cleaves, and only 3 in the entire first round. This was the era of the lanky wing player, athletic big, or back to the basket post presence. The game wouldn't see the emergence of the small point guard for years later, but even then, those point guards were also scorers of the ball. Ed wasn't able to show he could score well enough at UNC, partially because he always had NBA players on his team and wasn't regarded as a very good 3-point shooter. Although I think that fact the NBA got tragically wrong, because if you look at his stats, he wasn't bad at all. Stunt number 2, shooting. Another loss for the NBA for getting this guy wrong, man. The word on Ed Cota leaving UNC was that he couldn't shoot the ball, even though he shot it over 3 attempts a game as a junior and +2 as a senior, making solid percentages. He didn't shoot much as a freshman and sophomore due to future all-stars on his team. At 37% for his career, he shouldn't have had the non-shooting jacket on him that eventually got him undrafted. A guy that reminds me a lot of Raymond Felton. Their 3-point shooting averages were virtually the same. He averaged a lot more assists and was comparable in scoring as well. Had he come out a few years later, he would have definitely had a chance. Like mentioned, the 2000 draft was just not the year for point guards. Stunt number 3, wrong era. Ed Cota could also be the poster child for simply not being in an era suitable for his skills. Chris Paul averaged a career-high 6.6 assists in the same conference in his second year and was even shorter than Ed was. But Paul would go on to be a top 5 pick in the NBA. You can't tell me if Ed Cota was in the 2005 NBA draft, he wouldn't have gotten drafted. Felton, for his UNC career, averaged 6.9 assists per game compared to Cota's 7.5, yet he was also a top 5 draft pick and didn't go on to have the career expected at that high a pick. Cota was such a gifted passer, man. I couldn't imagine him not being a successful pro. He would take his talents overseas after a stint in the CBA, where he would have a pretty successful career. He would win championships and also led the league in three-point percentage in that span, proving he was actually a really good shooter. All in all, Ed Cota was a great college point guard that you'd have to see to realize his level of talent. His passing was really something to speak infinitely about. He didn't get an NBA shot, but is well respected and has accomplished everlasting goals along his journey. Salute to him, and I wish him all the success, man. Also, guys, we're nearing 20K, man. Listen, if we get to 20K before January is up, I'm releasing my story. You hear that? If we get to 20K before January is finished, I'm releasing my story. So all you gotta do, man, is subscribe. Let me know who I should do next in the comment box. It's 2 a.m. where I'm at right now, but I'm here putting in this work for you guys, man. So show me some love. Hit that subscribe button. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.